But for Chair, what's up, man? What are you up to? Yeah, it's looking all right. I've been working on it outside of the stream so I can focus and really get that form going in it. That's the main thing. There's a lot of information that is just not in the photograph. And so I really have to study it and think of the modifications I'm going to make based off of my knowledge of actually painting from life. So it's a bit, you know, doing some layer AutoCAD layer management. I don't know what that is. What is that? Yeah, it is a tough one. Drafting software. Okay. Shikari, what's up? What you doing? Shikari. Drawing, good. You have um, like a really solid touch, and um, I hope you start practicing like getting on a strong regimen of like this organized type of drawing, doing bar drawings and stuff. Because you in particular, I think it would really benefit you quite a bit. You have like the ability to do some amazing pieces, I think, if you're trained. Usually used by architects, but also mechanical and structural engineers. It's actually considered old now. They're using Revit now. It's just 3D stuff. Are you an engineer? Forget if I asked you. Awesome, man. I practice a lot, but I improve extremely slowly. Um, you know the drawings that I do. I know they're very basic, the figure drawings and the style that I do, and I do demonstrations on here. If you were to do that, Shakuri, you would be amazing. Like, and it takes a lot of practice with that stuff, and it feels like you're not going far because you're not like adding color and really developing things. The goal is to develop it, but I guess like you have to slow down so much to learn the basic stages that it feels like you're not going anywhere. But if you can get past that, um, the benefit is it outweighs most other practices. It's one of the best practices, in other words, I think. That's awesome. You draw every day. Nice. Good. I'm glad. And I can tell too. But I work now for a medical equipment company, so it's more on equipment side technical, but helps hospitals. So makes me feel like it's doing some good. Awesome, man. There you go. If this doesn't work out, I'll be selling sketches for 25 cents at every corner of the US. At least you have a plan. Sounds like a good plan. Same here with this. It's not good. Not a good move. Sorry, guys. Oh, This drops. That drops. Drops. Huh. Charlene could have Cherokee blood in her with the high cheekbones. I could see that. Maybe. She does have that child from the corn crazy look in her. I've probably projected some of that into her. I've probably done that. But I can see that, yeah. Yeah. Probably most children do. The Children of the Corn. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure I've ever seen it. I don't do well with horror movies. I have a cousin who was pure evil. I once told him, compared with you, I think all the new generation of kids are angels. You think he was evil? What did he do? Or she? He was so bad. Pulled telephone wires from houses, stole all the time, broke windows, put dynamite, small sticks under cars. It's not good, man. Was that when he was young? Like, is he still doing that stuff? Pure evil. Lied every time he spoke. Yeah. Yeah, what happened to him? When he was young. But he's fine now. He's okay now. Oh, good. Good for him. There you go. Did he find it in jail? Or is it one of those things where he just hit right bottom? Ah. This is kind of an a-hole. I didn't seek him out. Gotcha. Yeah, in jail. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, at least he's better than he was, right? You know, I have found there's a lot of jerks, but you don't know what they go through. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what made them that way. They might have had to deal with more than, like, I know I've been very fortunate in my life. Like, how would I be if I came from, like, a bad neighborhood or something, or a bad family? Because I came from a good family. How would I be? I still do stupid stuff, but I mean, you know, you never know. He got mad that I didn't follow him into a life of crime, and in eighth grade shot me with a powerful pellet rifle. Still have it stuck in my thigh. Yeah, I got one in my calf. Yeah, so I know how that feels. Doesn't feel good. You think you're fine, and then it starts hurting later. At least that's how it worked with me. Does it hurt when it's going to rain? No, none of my injuries hurt. I've always been told, like, I have an injury here on my ankle, like very bad ones. It never hurts when it rains. I don't get that stuff. But the doctors told me I would. I never do. It's a rough neighborhood, but my dad moved us away from there, and me and my brothers were good boys. So far, no pain from it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the BB, there's no pain from that. Yeah. But still there. You can feel it right here. It's good to get shot once in your life. Not by a real gun. Wouldn't survive. Well, most people, I think it's like 95% of people who get shot, they survive a gunshot. But still, I don't want to. That's no fun. I'm not advocating for that. It's rough stuff, man. Yeah. Maybe we just haven't noticed. Maybe there is pain. It could be one of those things because I don't know about you, but I feel recently I've been waking up feeling like I've been hit by a train. So my whole body, if I stop and think about it, hurts. So maybe I am feeling all this pain. But I don't want to think about it. BB gun doesn't count. Yeah, might not. Yeah, for getting shot, no. It still doesn't feel good. It's like a pellet gun. Doctor said I might lose my leg if they dug it out. So if wait, what did you say you got shot with? With a powerful pellet rifle, yeah. But that's like if that BB pellet hits you in the right place, could be lethal. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just remember my dad was really mad at me. I mean, that's like I mean a pellet rifle. That's a BB. Like I just call it a BB gun. But it's yeah, it's like I mean it's a small thing. It's a pellet. I mean, I couldn't walk on my leg for about a day or two. I could at first, but then it started hurting. It's like you couldn't move your calf, you know? Couldn't move your leg, you couldn't press. Really high power pallet. Okay, so you got shot with something much worse than it seems. Yeah, that could be potentially lethal, I would think, right? I mean, it's you're having something go through your body. I mean, you shoot your heart with it, that would be lethal. If it, goes in there, right? Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, my friend shot me point blank in the leg. Like he was like this far away. So I mean, it wasn't like mine. Yours sounds way worse than mine. Mine hurt like later, but I didn't feel it at first. It was more of like a sting, and then. But yeah, pallet shaped like a small cup, not a round pallet. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, probably die from a water gun. Pretty funny. I'm wondering if that eye is too small. Yeah, my friend shot me. Yeah, I know. Uh, I always have the most idiotic friends. It's totally bleeding all over the place. Not fun. Don't recommend it. It sounds awful. Yeah. No, mine was not nearly as bad, but I remember so my friend, this I was in the 8th grade. So I think I was 15 or 14 or 15 years old and we weren't going to tell our parents because my dad would get mad at me because y'all can't tell now, but he used to be scary. I mean, and he was very strict. And then my friend's mom was like that, right? So we weren't going to tell him. But then I couldn't walk after like an hour. So then we told his mom, and she destroyed him. And then they called my dad. My dad was pissed. He's like, "What did I tell you? You never play with guns." I was like, "It wasn't my fault." He's like, "I don't want to hear it." It was horrible. But I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong, but, well, debatably. Um, isn't that your friend, Lewis? Run. He was my friend. We're just idiots. I mean, it happens. Yeah, Dad was scary. Yeah. It's funny how that works. You can't tell now. Now it's, he's like, you know, just like the sweetest man. He's totally innocent now. He was not like that. Man, he was not like that at all. He was a force. Oh gosh, he was a force. Did not want to mess with him. And he was totally fair. I got whatever I deserved. I'm just saying. He used to have us work outside in the yard, like, all the time. Or, especially digging. Digging was a big thing. He'd always have us digging. He had us dig ditches all over the place, put in the I'm like, my parents wished I would be rebellious. Really? So you're that tame? I wasn't rebellious. I'm making it sound like, oh yeah, it wasn't like that. I was playing Mortal Kombat when it happened. I was playing video games with my friends. With my friend who shot me. So. But yeah, Dad was always like making me and my brother go out and dig ditches or work in the yard or help him with some project, which was good for us. It was very good for us. We learned a lot. We became capable. I remember we were doing like leaves on Thanksgiving Day. He made us go out and work in the yard. My friend would drive up when I was in high school, and he'd see me laying on the side of the road just, with a shovel. I mean, Dad was always working us. He would bring us out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer because he wanted to toughen us up. 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer in North Carolina is horrible. It's the hottest time. It's horrible. That's just chill out now. He's probably saying, I hope you have a son that acts just like you. Yeah, that, like, after a while, they're like, my job here is done. And then they just watch. They watch. It's kind of what happens. All right, that chin is a little bit blocky. Blocky. It's too blocky. They watch you suffer. Yep. Yes. We moved around the same town So I was always the new kid on the block. People would pick on me and my brothers a lot. I remember at one school, the best drawer artist kid wanted to beat me up. An artist gang. That's what I should start, is an artist gang that just goes around beating other people up. It's like they got mad at you because you didn't know how to draw shadow shapes correctly. Is that what you went through, but for chair? Ooh. Stabbing with pencils, yeah. Oh, you were better at drawing stuff, and so that he got pissed off. That's pretty funny, actually. He didn't like how I could crosshatch and he couldn't. So I got all the chicks, and he was mad. So he had to get revenge. They said, "You don't even know how to draw a bar block sketch." Yeah, right. Sorry I keep on yawning, guys. I'll try to stop. It's horrible. $15 under. I would say 50 under. I would say everybody's weird, actually. But I see what you're saying. I do agree with that too. Especially like when you're a kid, I guess. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I know I was. Because you don't know how to act at that age. You're still learning and taking things in. You never changed. Curry. Curry never changed. Oh, man. This is really a lot of guesswork. I will say, I'm going to be grateful when I actually have a model that I'm going off of, that I can actually see. Somebody who's sitting for me. I'm going to be very grateful. In fact, I've always been grateful when that's been the case, unless they weigh like 800 pounds, then I don't like that. I like to think people evolve and change for the better, but every now and then I see someone from decades ago and they have the same traits. Um, I think she does have some freckles. Like I could put the impression of the freckles in right now, but I'm still moving a lot. like kind of just doing this stuff. Immediately made it worse, but I'm still trying to move the big shapes around, so I don't want to really need to do that yet. Go back down to the chin and work on that area a little bit. I'm trying to keep this basic. Never painted freckles? Yeah. I'm not sure I have either. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. Freckles could be at the end. Yeah, mid to end or somewhere. Like I could probably start putting them on now if I'm just trying to get the, like I've been working kind of all around this area, right? So. Jeff, what's up, man? What are you doing? I'm trying not to fail miserably at painting, same as you. Yep. That's how it goes, man. By Odin's great beard, it's Jeff. Does not work. Oh my gosh. Everything's wrong. Everything is wrong. Don't let them see you cry. You made a promise to yourself. You said, No matter what happens, no matter how in despair you get, don't let them see you cry. That is how you overmodel and chin. That's Mr. Watching my paintings. Everything is wrong. Don't cry. Don't let them see you cry. Look, if you're satisfied with your work, you're probably not doing it right. It's just the sad reality of reality. It's true. Really? Yes. That's... Hmm. The Beast, the incomparable crew of Lilith. I think Guns N' Roses had a song about crying. I'll be Kurt Cobain at 27. Kurt, it's K with a K. Posted the YouTube episode of the one lady who collapsed in art school. You did. At least they will remember you in the Discord general tab. I'll check that out. Look how sunken in that is. This I painted the other day. Even this is sunken in. Even this, look at this. See that? See that? This, I bet, is sunken in. That might not be as dark. 1 second. it's not as sunken in yet. But it's sunken in quite a bit. I've just had a little bit of oil on. That a little bit. Thin it down just a little bit. So when oiling out, sometimes I like to thin it down some. And then I'll go and paint over it. Brush strokes I want. That way it prevents it from building up as too much, especially in the darks where you always need to oil it out. That kind of, see, the problem I'm having with this, I'm probably going to start putting different grind on it, or different gesso, is that it's sinking in so much that I can't see anything most of the time. Now, fortunately, I have experience painting on like boards like this, but doesn't mean I enjoy doing it. And catch up here really quick. Discord general tab. I had so many classmates that cried and critiques poor people, the teachers are assholes. There might be a chance of my paintings will be hanging at local bar bowling alley. That's awesome. I'll be famous with the drunks. Also want to be famous with the drunks. Oh man, dark colors sink. My painting is sinking in pretty bad too. Is the world ending? You both should use a thickened oil so it keeps shiny, or use liquid. I want to. So Romero said, "Don't put shit in your paints." I'm not so sure about liquid. Maybe you're right, but I'm not so sure about it. All right. I don't know. I've never used liquid before. Guys, I'm just going to paint. Just painting. This is kind of, like I said, it's sunken in quite a bit. This is very hard to paint right now. And, you know, sometimes you just got to go until you get in the flow with it. Sometimes that's just what you got to do. Do you at some point use a glazed spray bottle? No. I use liquid in the first few layers. Second, I don't know. It worked for me. The oils. Um, do you ever layer different mediums? I'm pretty simple, and I don't different mediums. I've done that a couple times, but I think I don't want the painting to yellow a lot over time. And I think when you start mixing a lot of stuff and start putting a lot of shit in the paint, it's not good for the paint in the long run. That's what I think. So I try to keep it as simple and as pure as I possibly can. Like you want to maximize your pigment. And the sunken in stuff, like you need to know how to paint sunken in. Some days you're gonna have it half sunken in. You got to know how to know what's sunken in, how to work on it, right? So, just how it is. This is just using blood, sweat, and tears like a real man. QFX, what's up, man? What are you doing? Yeah, I guess Resto's not in a good place, is it? But there's actually a guide. Somebody did a guide. Zerk said send it to me because he sends me stuff that just to remind himself to watch it. I watched part of it, and it was actually the guy said he's like really enjoying it and stuff in 2s and 3s. So maybe there is something like we're missing. It's going to be yellow that much anyway. It's not going to yellow that much anyway if you apply varnish on top, to be honest. Does varnish stop it? I've had paintings yellow past that. So I'm not sure that's correct. You might be right. I imagine modern artists using actual blood to paint. Right? Freaking weird. Visiting my parents and I'm watching TV with them. When you stream, nice, man. Cool. There's a YouTuber who restores paintings, shows the process, and man, that's a lot of work. It's an art in itself. It really is. That stuff is impressive to me. Paintings yellow over time. Varnish is a layer that protects UV light. Modern ones have the advantage over Damar varnish that yellows almost instantly. Gotcha. But it still lets sunlight through their teeth at least. People do too. What are you talking about, Shakuri? I think all paint is yellow. Yeah, Resto is probably about as bad as Holy. Might want to consider to pre-hot when you enter. You lose stealth, but when you start hotting it, yeah. Have to pop a tree to catch up. Probably talking about Baumgartner. He recommends the varnish to protect the paintings from yellowing and keeps colors fresh. That's good to know. Thank you. I've obviously heard of him since, as you could tell by my pronunciation. So I'm putting color down, but I'm also keeping it very thin. And because I'll have to oil that out at some point because it's going to sink in so much. And when I do, I'll scrape a little bit of it off. So I'll keep it thin and transparent that way. So that's how I work. And not putting a lot of oil on when you oil out is good because the more oil you put on, the more it's going to yellow. So if you just keep it very thin all the time like that and kind of take a thin layer off, it prevents the oiling or the yellowing. We can't be completely sure what will happen with modern stuff. It's going to yellow, but in like 50 years or something, and that is just, you just clean the varnish and apply a new one. Yeah, I'll be going by then too. Whew. Yellowing can be perfect. Test to see how much something yellows. Did you run AV yesterday? I did. I did 2 games. Yeah, we did 2 games. There's some cool videos of how color gets affected Sorry, there's some cool videos of how color gets affected over time, and that's so cool to see when you keep a painting in darkness, it yellows as well. Huh. It's wild. Oil never stops working and living. Like syphilis. Rembrandt using uh, litharge and doesn't caring a shit about yelling at the end of his life made his last painting so fucking yellow. But that's an extreme medium, I'd say. Yeah. Hmm. He sold his soul to the devil. Did he really? He didn't do that. He sold a lot of shit. Just saying he's really good. He bought a lot of shit. No, I'm kidding. He was good. Yeah, that's why I took it as. Uh, he went broke. Yeah, he did go broke at the end of his life, didn't he? I'm not sure he ever made that back. It's too high. What does it? It does go up too high. That gets darker. Right? This might be too dark. Soften. And then I'm going to go back into it. Nope. Nope. Yeah, he was like, he spent a lot, right? Yeah. John Levin's dude, that guy was 1 year younger than Rembrandt, and he was better than him. After they started working together, he got really in competition mode and got very insanely good. He went wild buying stuff instead of saving it up. Evans has better drawing capabilities than Rembrandt, in my opinion, much more naturalistic. He sold his soul to the devil, right? I prefer his work too, but maybe Rembrandt was more unique. I want to sell it to... No, you don't. I like Rembrandt more. I'm just saying in terms of drawing. Eternity in Hell for 50 good years, huh? QFX isn't too impressed. "50 years is little compared to a life of painting." All right, let me fix. One who heard Lewis cut audio. I rather think long term instead of short term. QFX, I agree. My audio, I think, is okay, right? It says it's okay. Saw a BBC episode. A guy says that reason paintings got so good in the 1400s in Florence was because the use of camera obscura. Says that was their secret. Huh. It's the devil's What's the devil's contact info? Guy's name was David Honkley. Honkley? It's interesting. We learn something every day. Every day. Every day we learn. Every day. He did camera obscura. Whoever came up with the BBC name is either a giga oiler or clueless. Could be jealous. Florence. They really stress drawing over there. I mean, the camera was a tool. I don't think that it's a lost the form in the drawing on the side. I don't think. I think that guy's wrong. He's just like wrong, bro. It's more in the Baroque area, like Vermeer in the 1600s. So Leonardo and those guys weren't able to use it. Um, they aren't sure if people like Van Dyke used it or not, but this stuff is so micro, it's nuts. Caravaggio used it, I think. It's mostly to be able to analyze edges and form in a more subtle way. I should have to check about Caravaggio. I haven't heard of that, to be honest. Caravaggio needed a good sword fight to death after a proper painting session. Dude went hard. Yep, his Hunkley guy claimed Van Dyke used it. I just forgot the full name. Painting of a married couple. Let me finish the letters. So the camera obscura, when did that come in again? Did you say? Let me see. Did you say you said the 1600s? Are you sure about that? I'm not so sure about that, Jeff. You might be right. I start cleaning up. I'll leave the stream on while I do. I need to pace myself, man. You know what I do? I just have to pace myself. The thing is, I go straight all day long, like all day long. And so when I get in a, during a painting sesh, you get that momentum, you keep going, but then like you just wear yourself out. And momentum's good, but right now, man, I gotta go easier somehow. I was also painting before I got on too. So what I've been doing, because this is taking a lot of focus, and so I'll either paint before or after a stream, right? Depending on how I feel. Kind of get in that rhythm. But I make sure I get some quality painting done. I'm doing a good job. I want to keep up with chat at the same time. It's frustrating because I want to keep up with chat, but obviously in the visual arts, it's very hard to do that and paint efficiently sometimes. And so that's what I struggle with. I'll try to remember to look into some program that actually, like some voice program for me or something. Maybe I could do that when somebody says something in chat and it'll just tell it to me, which would be great. Dang it. I sound tired as fuck. I am. I'm trying not to be, but I am. 1600s. So you think it's 1600s? Shikari. This is basically the arena equivalent of the day. Another couple of band. I didn't think he was just a finish. Okay. It's either breaking up or it's issue on my end. Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably on your end. You know, the camera was invented way earlier, but it was unusable because it was just a hole in the wall that projected an inverted floppy image of outside. The camera that Vermeer used was made of wood and lenses. It was basically a piece of glass in dark room with a hole. So this guy claims they knew about this technology in the 1400s. Well, I mean, I don't trust him. Drink some coffee. It just was developing enough and used for painters. I read 1600s. I'm beyond coffee right now, Shakuri. Beyond the coffee. Oh man, got some good work done though today. I'm also all right. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get back into posting because I figure like if I can make a habit of posting, then I can get back into video work a little bit more. Like I didn't leave the house today until 2:30 because I had to be very hands-on at home. There was a lot going on. It's rough, man. Dad, something's wrong with him. He's like, I think he's having an allergic reaction, so his hands were all swollen. He's been more tired recently and hasn't been able to walk as well. So I really spent a lot of time with him before I came here. I got some good painting done, and then we got some good streaming done, right? Cocaine might help. Caravaggio won a couple fights. He made it to 2K, right? You're talking about the arena? He did real life arena. Low key drunk. You think I'm drunk? Do I seem drunk right now? Maybe that's why art improved so much around the 1600s. I'm not drunk, man. Ah, stuff. There's so much to improve upon. So much to learn. So much to learn. Life. Life. Maybe because before the study edges was hard because they don't have YouTube videos like us. We do have a lot of, I know you're saying that partially joking, but like YouTube and just everything, it's like you can get information so much easier now, which is good. Drunk on my twos rating? Dude, I'm not drunk on my twos rating right now, I'll tell you that much. Look me up. Actually, I'm not sure it'll even come up yet. Poor old masters couldn't watch a Lewis video. It's probably why they're so good. They didn't have to go full retard. Let me switch this up some. Delete. Play. I mean, seriously, they couldn't have even a print, an image. Yeah, like they would have to go there to see it, right? So we have so many advantages that they didn't have. Look, like even when I was studying, when I first came up, we didn't have all this stuff. Now, granted, we still had, like, you could look things up on the internet. You could, but like finding people actually like working and painting, being able to interact with them, and this type of style of painting was not as well known 25 years ago. I mean, it was known and it was just coming back, but it was like when I was in the 90s and when I was in high school, everything was just abstract and express yourself, and that was it. Even when I was over in Italy, I didn't know about the Florence Academy. That's one of the biggest schools. Everybody knows it now. Well, a lot of people do. Crazy. Things change, man. And it's changing in a good way, too. Changes in a good way. Look at that. Changes in a good way. They never saw baby fights. We don't die, we multiply. Blizzard thinking we're doing him a favor if it doesn't update. My friends think that Blizzard has a file on me because I really, they might. Because of stuff that I've done, which I won't get into. They might have a file on me. Because shit keeps on happening, man. That's why we're lazy now. I'm so happy classical art is coming back. Me too. Me too. That's why some paintings just look with so hard edges and no atmosphere at all, only sfumato, but that was applied to mountains and stuff. So do you remember one of the first paintings I actually saw it in was Renaissance. It was Leonardo da Vinci, and he had done a painting with his master, and he did the background, and he put atmospheric perspective into it. Because they were coming up with the concepts of perspective, right? They came up with that. That was something that was being taught at the time. But then atmospheric perspective, and so if you looked at Leonardo's work, a lot of his, the edges were much smoother. That's one of the things that differentiated him between a lot of his colleagues. It's quite amazing, actually. He did a good job. Like, he was ahead of his time. And that's why he's so famous. Like, if somebody like that was around today doing that type of work, it wouldn't, it wouldn't be anything too special because it's been done. But he was the first person to start doing this stuff. Barocchio. Go there. Wait a second. Sussy methods. Wait, QFX. What? What happened? Jeff, I think we can. I think we are in the process right now. But what I want to see is more like full scenes. And that's something that I'm going to be doing. But I can't do it right now. I have too much on my plate right now. But I'm just trying to like get done what like my commissions right now and just keep a basic level of painting. I don't even feel I can even improve my work right now. Maybe I can. But I'm like a shadow of what I should be. But my goal is to be doing large multi-figured works. In fact, before my dad got sick, I have a large studio and I can get several panels and I wanted to do a giant ass painting. And I'm going to do it. And if I do it, I'll do it on stream. So you'll see like a full figure painting. And I'm going to do that. But I can't do it anytime soon, probably. He needs to say something, I mean, technique gets you so far. Technique, you know this. Like, I promote technique. You need to have the solid technique. But you want to be doing solid work, art, Got to do it, man. Yeah, Jeff, exactly. The visual effect. Look, Da Vinci, he was freaking insane. He really was. What edges should be soft and what sharp? It depends on the, painting to painting. It should be exactly. So when I look at reality, most edges are sharp. If you look directly at them, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in a second and see what values and less contrasting in the background. So they are softer. Is it lighter? Same value, darker. Basically, the one old guy who has no clue about PvP in charge of the value changes gets slipped a note about what's next, fear of the moment, and what classes are baited into sub postseason just to get nerfed. I don't think Blizzard breeds anything, to be honest with you. And yet they have people moderating the forums. The problem people are having right now is that Blizzard has like instituted this system of reporting and they've left it to automation. And so people are afraid to say or do anything because other people are reporting them. And it's bullshit. And so like the game has become so much less fun. Like you can't talk shit to people without getting reported, and it's pathetic, man. And the forums are the same way. They used to be fun. You used to be able to say, like, you can't even joke around with people on the forums because they call it trolling, and they say it's inflammatory, which like 90% of the stuff said is inflammatory. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Shikuri, like soft edges. If you look at anything, it's going to appear sharp because you're staring at it. But when you're working with a full scene composition, one of the things that as a painter should be doing is directing the viewer's eye. And so, in other words, if the composition is this right here, you're going to have me as a focal point. And so, like, the area in which you're focusing upon will be sharper and more in focus than, say, the background. Now, you might have little sharps and softs in the background in relationship to the whole painting to kind of push things forward, some that you want in the background. But for the most part, sharps and softs are determined by comparing them within the work. Okay? And so when you have atmospheric perspective, obviously, like off in the distance is oftentimes softer, right? Softer paint. As it comes forward, things are going to get more defined. But the painter can make the choice of whether or not they want something sharp or soft. So even if something's sharp, that it appears that they can make it sharp, or they can make it soft if they want the viewer's eye to go up to a certain point. Those are artistic decisions. But the way to determine this is you're looking at the focal point and determining your sharps and softs based off what you see with your peripheral. That's a good technical way of going about it. Does that make sense? It obviously does, because I said it. And everything I say makes sense. We know this. Gone over this multiple times. All right. People test reported. Yeah, and it automatically kicks them out because it's automated. It's a joke. The flare view of the background. Some parts of the background are lighter or darker. The closest value of the background is to your object, the softer it is. Which is why I made all my test characters named stupid. Like, no one gonna ban me anyway. I heard some people say things should be softer. Everybody says something different. Some of my old characters have to be renamed, like just the tip, DKs and stuff. There are going to be different things in the background, not just one. Xerxes' tune, Your Face, My Sack, had to get renamed. But he could just rename it back to it. They don't prevent it. Oh, goodness. Anyway. Woo! Guys, I'm taking a breather. Take a free name change. There you go. It makes a lot of sense, but it can be tricky to find the right balance when you are actually painting. So Shikari, you're absolutely right. And so this is one of the things that you can't move this over. One second. This is one of the things that we deal with as painters. And so that's why you notice, like when I'm working, and this is why I do this so y'all can see it. How many times do I take an edge and then I'll sharpen it or I'll soften it and I'll go back and forth, right? So you change it. It's a balancing act. Sometimes you're making things sharp. Sometimes you're softening it. So you might make something sharp in the background thinking it's good, and then you, as long as you step back, look at the painting and think about it, you might decide to soften it. And that's how you're going to get that experience. That's why we take our time with painting. And that's why it's important to have the technical know-how with this stuff, right? A lot of people, and that's the thing, Romero spoke about this, right? People saying that, oh, being artistic is held back by this type of studying because this type of studying is not artistic. And Romero, in that interview with Ryan Brown, said, look, this is where you learn the language, to do what you're asking. And then once you're out of the school, go and do what you want. He said, kind of spread your wings is what he said. And so that's what it is. So that's why I'm always encouraging that drawing, right? The basic figure drawing and the bar drawing and stuff. And I think people could say, oh, well, you're saying it because you went to the Florence Academy and that's just how they trained you. Yeah, true, and it works. Like, I didn't come up with the method. It works, and that is why I'm saying it. But it does work, and it comes out in my painting. And my Thursday evening drawing classes, whenever I'm painting well, I'm painting well because of those drawing sessions. And whenever I'm drawing well, it's because I'm doing those lessons in my painting. Like I'm thinking about it that way. If I'm just going in painting, just trying to like feel good and express myself, I'm not drawing well. It's all like they're all connected. Hmm. My cheek, the cheek, um, yeah, the cheek was sharp and then it's soft and it's sharp and soft. I've lost the form right now and the side of it, where I kind of cut it in below the ear and the ear's not shaped correctly. I kind of left that half drawn. But the thing to keep in mind with that is I'll be coming back into it this week anyway and working those areas. And whether it's wet like this, whether it's half dried or whether it's dry, I know how to work that area. So everything there you see is going to be corrected, repainted. I know how to thin the paint once it's dried. I know how to thin it when it's wet, right? How? Because I work into it when it's wet. I work into it when it's half dry. Most people want to they're afraid to work into something because they're like, oh, is this the time to do it? If you're practicing, work on it every day and work on into it when it's like half sunken in so that you know how to work with it. That's what that's how we learned at the school. So I know how to work into a painting in various levels of drying because of this. You learn when to oil it out. You learn how to oil it out. You learn efficient ways of oiling it out. You learn how to see the values in a painting that's totally sunken in. Like you have to learn how to work with the materials you have, right? So that's the idea behind this stuff. Vinruki invited some guy to his guild on stream, asked, are you Girthmaster X? Best name. I got on stream today. I forgot I forgot the name I was logged in under because it was a joke account that I had made. And I asked, and my name was Huge Don Crin, and I asked if they had a Discord and they did. It's just I didn't know that it was anyway. Because I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out information with that. Switching devices. Anyway, yeah, Shakuri, these are good questions. So, yeah, and you just, first off, the edges, you're aware of it. Look at different paintings and see how they accomplish the edges. See what you like, see what you don't like. Right? And understand that, when you look at anything, okay, what you need to learn to do is key the edges up. So within the figure, for example, when light is hitting the shoulder up here, and if it's a dark background especially, you're going to have sharper edges, especially where there's the plane's this to you. If the plane's kind of curved like this or going back behind another area, oftentimes or falling down, there's little hair here, it's going to be softer, right? But you have to learn to look at the whole thing and kind of look at it in your peripheral, but then look and see sharps and then look and see, compare them. Flash your eye around the figure really quick. You'll be able to see the sharps and softs. So figure work is one way that you can practice seeing sharps and softs. So in other words, you can understand the concepts. Okay, they're sharps and softs. But then you have to train your eye to see these things, right? And that's why the figure is a simple way of doing it. That's why I encourage figure drawing. That's another reason why I encourage figure, because you're not focusing on a huge background. It's not 5 million things you have to look at. It's just figure, and all the concepts you learn can be found within the figure. I guess minus atmospheric perspective, but I mean that's You still learn softs, and you still have your shadow, like shadow is atmosphere, form is light. There's still form in shadow. It's still to be implied and understood, but it's oftentimes softer in comparison to the lights. That left switching devices. Gotta go rest and work. All right, Jeff, I'll see you, buddy. Too many choices to carry. Sergeant, I've neglected my edges for too long. Your edges are very sharp. And so, like, your work is very good. You didn't work on your drawing, your joints, and your sharps and softs. The reset MMR by 500, probably, because I can't get... Zerx and I, granted, Zerx is looking up a video on Resto right now, that one I talked to you about. And so I think there's a different build that he can do that seems to work. But before, it was just like he couldn't keep me up. And if they focused him, he was instant dead. And everybody's joking, like, it's ridiculous, but we still got it up into 1300s. But we were hitting gladiators, like, immediately. I mean, it's a joke. But we played the first, like, we played Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, like, everybody was playing then. Sergeant uses two ropes to just watch how he plays with the background. Yeah, I agree with Jeff. And Sergeant has a lot of variation. Like, not all his paintings are the same. There's going to be a lot of difference. But anyway, guys, I do have to get going. Y'all are awesome. And I'll try to stream again this week. All right? I'll see you guys.